Welcome to another episode of the Peak Potential Success Show. My name is Fong. I'm an entrepreneur, business strategist, real estate investor, speaker, also best-selling author, and every single day I help others unlock the potentials and guide them to succeed. Today on the show, we have another fascinating guest. On this show, we interview celebrities, entrepreneurs, business CEOs, athletes, and artists to find out their path to success, how they're able to overcome challenges and adversity, and of course, their keys to success. And today's guest is somebody who's been helping a lot of his clients, a lot of people who follow him, achieve success, overcome challenges, and overcome adversity. And hence, I'm very, very excited to have him here. I've had the privilege and honor of speaking at one of his events. Lots of great content, lots of great people there. And when I heard him speak, wow, absolutely amazing. He's been able to impact lots of people with his words, motivate people with his presentations, and I'm sure his hands are some of the most lethal weapons out there as well. So I'm very excited to ask him more questions about that. At a very young age, he was able to discover the powerful impact of words, not only for the speaker, but for the listener as well. He combines verbal techniques and physical attributes to get his points across, to motivate his clients, to motivate his audiences. And his life's mission is to enhance communication worldwide, from team members to individuals to organizations as well. He is a expert solutions finder. He is a person who is an executive coach. He's been able to combine and help really guide his clients towards great success, towards their goals with clarity and purpose by combining his martial arts skills and communication skills and leadership development skills to help them really achieve success. So please welcome Codebreaker Technologies trainer, master instructor, and owner of Max Martial Arts and Fitness, founder of Speaking Prowess, speaker SIFU Rafael.
Wow. Oh my gosh, where do I send a check?
To my name, it's all good. Well, thanks for
There you
being
go. Excellent. It's on its way.
awesome. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here. Very excited to having you. So how did you get to where you are today? I mean, like, it's not every day you find somebody who's an expert in speaking, expert in coaching, expert in finding solutions, but also an expert martial artist.
I got to be super honest with you. It starts when you understand what your mission is and your mission in life. And I realized that very young on when I realized that my true power is in helping people. How can I serve? And when you want to help someone, you want to help them without a handout. You don't want to say, how can I help you? Give me some money. So for me, it's always about how can I empower someone so they can be the best version of themselves? And for me to become an expert in anything and anyone out there listening, it starts with one step, one little step. And also it starts with a desire. What do I want to accomplish? And then you need to see that goal in mind, and then you have to go for it. There are times where you may say, wow, why am I even doing this? Is it worth it? But if you keep your mission clear, it's evident. It will show up in everything you do that, yeah, this is definitely the right path I'm on.
Did the martial arts stuff come first, or was it the speaking stuff that comes first? Like, how did you get there? Was it were you doing something else, or how did you come across both these areas of your expertise?
I think that to be honest with you, I think that the reality of it is movement. Movement is really what shaped me into the person I am today. I lost the ability to walk when I was a child, and for a couple of years, and understanding that communication with myself, to understand that no one could walk for me. So I had to find a way. Thank God I had great doctors. I wore special shoes. I wore braces on my legs, the whole deal. But it took me believing in me, speaking those words to myself. So communication started early on, but the real key was the movement, the loss of movement made me understand that, wow, I need to regain it at all costs. So movement is really what has shaped my life. Without movement, I wouldn't be where I am today.
And movement is very important in the coaching and the speaking area too. I mean, it's like what I believe 55% of communication is body language and gestures and facial expressions. So when it comes to coaching and speaking, how much has the martial arts aspect transferred into that? Do you sometimes think of as a martial artist when you're speaking on stage, or do you think about maybe I need to change things up here because of my experience in the other realm?
To be honest with you, martial arts, uh, it was personal. It's always been personal. I do martial arts for me. Now, I realize that I have a talent, and that's to assist other people in becoming great as well. So that's why I started teaching. That's the only reason I started, because if my goal is to help as many people as I possibly can, how can I use something that I'm really good at and enlighten them? So martial arts it's an avenue, it's a tool, if you will, because I don't just teach someone how to punch and kick. I teach them why. I teach them you don't want to learn to punch and kick because everybody can do that. But I want to teach you how to save your life. There's your why. I want to teach you how to empower yourself. I want to teach you how to have confidence. And so with every lesson I give, I'm teaching them life skills. I'm teaching character development. I'm teaching them how to communicate with their body. But yet, the most important lesson is I teach them how not to get into a fight, how we can use the words to evade, to move, to shift, to understand. So, fighting is the last resort.
Hmm.
But sometimes we have to do what we call, I guess, verbal judo, if you will, right? We have to use our words to kind of dominate a situation, but in not in a way that's going to be negative for everybody, but in a way sometimes that we need to take control of a situation.
Mhm.
It's because of the actions and the words we use that will allow us to do that.
Mhm. Now, your martial arts background makes you very, very unique when it comes to helping other people in business. Have you found what are some of the like lessons that you can share from a martial arts standpoint that a normal coach can't share with other clients because they don't have that background?
Absolutely. You know, one of the things that has been instilled in me is discipline. And it's been instilled in me, but not by anyone else, by me, because no one else can make you disciplined. You have to do it yourself. So the discipline that I have, I practice every day, 7 days a week. There is no day off. So I go on vacation, I'm training. It does not matter. My mind is always going. I'm thinking, how does this work? How does that work? And when it comes to coaching somebody, it's the discipline and engaging them in what are you doing? How are you doing it? How often are you doing it? If you want these results without the discipline, you're not going to get them, or you might half get them. So it's important for us to understand as a martial artist that if I am not disciplined, I will not be able to do my technique properly. If I practiced it 4 years ago and I think I'm good, when I try to pull it off right now in this instant, it's not going to be 100%. So I train to be 100% every day because in a real life situation, I will never, ever, ever be able to pull it off 100%. It may be 60%. But if I didn't practice it to begin with, how would I be? I may only be able to do it at 15, 20%. So for me, it's always about understanding where we are, how we are. And as a martial artist, it's always about, am I in the game? I've been doing martial arts for 49 years. I know masters out there who are living based on their glory days 20, 30 years ago. I used to do this. I used to do that. Really? So the same thing goes in business. If you're not leveling up every day in business, you can't go. It's like computers. They're evolving all the time, right? Your iPhone. I think they're coming up with a new one. Computers, we're always upgrading. So if we're upgrading the iOS or whatever level of programs you're using, if you're not staying with the trends, if you're not foreseeing what's coming up next, you will get left behind. And that's how what I bring to my business from the martial arts, because we don't all carry around swords. We don't carry around spears. But could I use that knowledge of how to use my body in a real life situation? Could I use the knowledge that I had when I started my first business to start another one? Or can I use it, but then do I have to level it up? Because I've been an entrepreneur for over 30 years. Can I still start a new business based on the way I started my first one?
Mhm.
Yes, but you have to keep implementing the new technology, the new paradigm shifts that have happened. So for us, it's important to see the past, understand the future, but live in the present. Because a lot of people, I love this about some people, they're seeing far into the future, but they're not taking care of what's going on currently. So we need to be super focused, especially when it comes to business.
Wow, great insight there. You mentioned discipline is a big thing, and discipline is something that's not easily obtained or easily a skill set that people have. So how could one person train their discipline? Is it finding that accountability person? Is it setting up mental games for yourself or checklists or something that keeps you disciplined? What do you do, or what do you recommend people do to get their discipline level higher?
I think one of the things that is most important is a morning and evening routine, right? In the morning, you should know what your day is going to be like already. In the evening, you should review what your day was like. What didn't you get to do? How can you improve on tomorrow? So when someone asks me, "How are you today?" my response is exceptional and getting better every day, because I do that evening routine. What did I do today? I'm reflecting. What could I have done differently so that next time I can, so evaluation is going to help you do that. So I can next time make it better, change it, or who do I need to have in my corner, right? If we're going into a boxing match, the person in your corner are the ones that truly have your back. Because once you get in the ring, you're by yourself. But it's all the training that has gotten you there. But it's your corner man who's going to say, "Hey, by the way, I notice he's ducking and then he's slipping." And so we have to listen to those. That's why we need coaches. That's why we need people, because we can't see every little thing. So coaching is so important to understanding and leveling up, and to get into that habit, and having an accountability partner is great. But is your accountability partner the right one for you? Because a lot of times I've had accountability partners and we got on a call and all they want to tell me is about their neighbors. That's not an accountability partner. That's not something that's going to help me or help me help you. We should get on a call. It should be 15, 20 minutes. If it needs to go longer, and have respect of each other's time, because it's not about the headaches that I have unless they are based on the situation that your accountability partner is there for. So if you and I get into becoming accountability partners and you say, Sifu, I want to do this. And I'll like, okay, I'm going to take notes on what you want to do. And then your mission for me is to make sure you stay on track. And I'm going to go, hey, Fong, I want to do these things. And then I hope as my accountability partner, you're going to take notes and say, well, when are you going to do it by? How are you going to do it? What are the steps you're going to take? And then when we talk next time, we have to actually look at our notes and say, did you do so and so? How's it going? Instead of you going, yeah, man, I went to the park the other day and I saw a really nice tree and I was so beautiful and the birds were on it. That doesn't help either one of us, right? So when we want to set ourselves right, I think habits is one of the most important things that we need to do. I love habits. So one of the things that I do, Fong, is when I want to change something, I first look at how am I doing it? Is it habitual? Do I think about it? Or do I just take action? Have I thought it out? So anytime, for example, when sometimes I want to change a habit and I go, the simplest way to change a habit is do something simple that you don't even think about. What shoe did you put on this morning when you dressed? Did you put the left or the right? And do you know which one you put on yesterday? Or is it a habit that you don't even think about it? So every day I pay attention to the details, and that's what sets me apart from a lot of other people because it's the details. So maybe I like putting on my left shoe first, but I go, I'm going to change that. I'm going to put on my right shoe today. And just that tiny little bit, it may be nonsense, but it lets you focus on the present, right? And we talked about the present before. So, Fong, I'm going to ask you, what sets you apart from all the other podcasters, from everyone out there? And why do you do what you do, my friend?
I think one thing that would set me apart would be the combination of guests I have on my show. I have a wide range of different people from different industries and whatnot. I also spend a lot of time developing those relationships with the people so that we're not just jumping in cold. I do know them a fair bit before they're on my show. There's rapport there, and I find that that helps a lot when it comes to the rapport between the interviewee and interviewer during the session because it's a lot more fun. There's some friendship there. There's some camaraderie there. So I find that that is something that sets me apart a little bit. And then also the reason why I do what I do is because I want to be able to showcase other people to other people. Being able to share their skill sets, share their insights, share their value to other people as much as I can, but at the same time build those relationships so that we can help each other and build that network to impact the world as much as we can. So that's why I do what I do.
Love it, love it. And you're doing a phenomenal job.
Well, thank you very much. Um, so when it comes to people that you work with, what are some of the most common things that you find that is stopping them from achieving great success?
Habits. It's their habits. And a lot of times they don't realize it. They don't realize that their habits, it's a crutch sometimes. And they also blame others. So sometimes when somebody first comes to me, and they want me to help them in their business, I ask them about them first because I want to know what their days are like. What are your habits? What do you do? What do you value also? So for me, value is important, so important because if you say, hey, listen, I'm looking to go from 5 million to 10 million. Okay, well, what are you doing every day? Well, no, I want to talk about my business. I understand. But what you may not understand is that you are your business. Even though you may have, 20, 30 employees, that's fine, but you dictate that business. You dictate how your employees even behave, how they even show up. So if your actions don't reflect that, then how are you going to go from 5 to 10? Because if you're not going to change to the $10 million mark, but you think that all your same actions are going to be at a 10 million when you're only acting as a 5 million, it's not going to happen. So your habits are going to really, really improve, or you need to change them.
Mhm.
And when I say improve on a habit, is do you only talk to the people you like in your company? Do you have one-on-ones with them, or do you talk to everybody because they're part of your company? So we need to level out our habits. We need to understand how our habits make us even money, right? But also, I think one of the key ingredients is we should ask other people, as a business person, how do I treat other people? How do other people see me? Because perception is everything in business. I've had clients tell me that they do something, and I said, "Oh, show me what you do." And of course, because they know I'm watching them, they do it. And what they don't know is I put the video camera on, and then we stop, we talk about it, and then I'll leave for a little bit, and maybe I'll go to the bathroom, excuse myself on purpose, and then come back. But they're still being videotaped, and then the way they even talk to other people. So you can't just be a performance based. You can't just throw on a hat and say, yes, I am a manager or I am the business owner, and then take the hat off and then talk really badly to your spouse or your kids or your neighbors, because that carries over whether you know it or not. So it's your habits.
Wow. So you are who you are, whether you're in the ring, you're in business, or you're at home.
Absolutely.
You must be the nicest fighter everybody's ever seen.
Well, you know what? I love to fight. To be honest with you, I do like to fight, but here's the thing. I fight to win. Otherwise, I'm not fighting. It's not a fight. But when I fight to win, at the end is I have respect. So I start with respect. One of the things, and I know it's showmanship and it's getting in somebody's head, but you see a lot of fighters, boxers, UFC fight, they they trash people and they say things, and they even trash it goes beyond just trashing a person, but then they start getting into their family, their moms, their spouses, whatever it is. And that just shows the demeanor of person that they are going to be overall. Because they may say, "Oh, I was just doing it for the cameras." No, not when you bring family. You're not, it's no longer. If you can say, "Hey, listen, you're a dirty bum, you do this, you smoke, you drink," that's fine, right? But when you started saying, "And your mom and your wife and your kids," that's just, it really speaks to the person you are. And you said it, no matter where you are, there you are. So you need to be honest with yourself. For me, integrity is being you everywhere, even when nobody is watching. For me, I've videotaped martial arts students, and the reason I videotape them is not because I'm being sneaky, is because we all think we did something correct, including myself. I videotape myself so I can judge myself, so that I can say, "Oh man, I did that wrong. Maybe I didn't bend my knee, or maybe I did this, or I didn't turn my head," whatever it is. So I do it to myself. So first, I got to be able to judge me. I am nobody's judge. So the video allows them to judge themselves, because afterwards I'll say, "Hey, um, I keep telling you to do this. Oh, but I'm doing it. I said, I know, and I know you want to, but is it okay if I share this with you? They're like, what? I said, well, I videotaped you. They're like, what? I said, yeah, just take a look and tell me. They look at it. Then they have a thought like, wow, you were right. I said, I'm not showing you the video to show you that I'm right. I'm sharing the video so you can finally convince yourself that you need to make these corrections. So whether you're a public speaker or you're a business person, no matter who you are in the world, we need to look at ourselves first. We need to see how we show up, how we treat other people. And when we can do that, that speaks volumes. That speaks volumes. I I dare everybody listening to this podcast to put a camera in the corner of your office or anywhere and just see how you act. But then also, you can also see how other people act towards you or even each other. But don't pass judgment at others. I'm asking you to judge yourself. The same reason I showed the video to some students. And you know what they said to me afterwards? They're like, wow. And all along, I thought I was doing it right. And you were just mad at me or you didn't like me. And I said, I do like you. I said, if I didn't like you, I wouldn't take the time to videotape you because now you're on my camera, you know?
That is an amazing strategy, and I recommend that for a lot of people when it comes to doing their presentations, their speeches, and all that kind of stuff. But doing it for a day-to-day life habits and all that kind of stuff, that's on another level. I mean, then you could really critique yourself as to what you need to change, what your daily habits are, and whatnot. So, a great advice there. Now, when it comes to overcoming challenges, I'm sure that you've overcome so many different types of challenges from physical, like being able to walk again, not only just walk, but move on to becoming a master in martial arts, to speaking on stages, to coaching people. What was one of the biggest challenges that you've ever faced, and how did you overcome that?
I think early on, understanding that there's other people who think like me. There's other people who may perceive things the way I do. Because when I was very young, I thought no one thought the way I did. Right? It's very interesting when we get into our head and we're thinking like, nobody can think like me. Nobody gets it. But I was so wrong. And overcoming that, I think really enlightened me to understand that showed empathy, right? So a lot of people don't realize that, hey, you know what? This terrible thought I had, other people have had it too. This amazing idea I had, other people have had it too. Now it's whether we take action on those thoughts that sets us apart. I think that is where overcoming that adversity is to understand that I'm not alone, that I can actually have something in common with someone else, even if they're not me. That I realize that I live in my world. Fong, you live in your world. But the beauty is that there's 8 billion worlds in this world. We all live in I would call it a bubble, but I want to call it a world, right? We live in our own world. We live in our head. That's our world. My world is in my head. Yours is in your head. But when we realize and we come together and we live in this amazing and beautiful world, wow, wow, that really makes you understand that I'm not alone, that I matter, that you matter. This is why I'm so passionate about helping every single individual in this world become a better version of who they are. One of the things that drives me nuts is when people do not believe they're worthy. Oh, I don't live in that fancy house. I don't drive that fancy car. Oh, my bank account is not that. But it's not about the money or that. It's about what you have in here and what you do with it. And I believe that we all were put here for a reason. And if we're going to just sit down and watch TV day in, day out, and just do a mundane job and do it badly, then we are wasting the gifts we've been given. I got to tell you, every morning, part of my morning routine and my evening actually is I'm not getting religious, but I do say my prayers. And in my prayers, one of the things I say is, thank you for the gifts you've given me. And please allow me to share my gifts with the world, with my brothers and sisters. So that's how I lead my day. And that's how I go to sleep at night, knowing that I have these gifts and I'm not a hoarder of these gifts. I gotta get them out. I gotta give them away. I gotta let other people understand that I have gifts and I need to give them. But I'm not the only one with gifts. Everyone, Fong, you have amazing gifts and you're doing something with your gifts. And that's how we change the world. You're having exceptional guests on your show, and every guest gives a message that we all need to unite, that we together, even though we live in separate worlds, we can unite to create a better world for our futures.
Well, very, very powerful stuff there. Thank you very much for sharing that, because lots of people have to realize that yes, they have their gifts. It's that they're not harnessing that gift and they're not sharing that gift, which is something that you've been able to do and something that you've been helping lots of people do themselves so that they're able to make a better impact to the world. One of the things that you mentioned in that part there was this, like, implementing it, taking action. And even if you do find that gift and you don't put it into action, then it's still a gift that's still unopened. So when it comes to speed of implementation, taking action, what is your advice to people to actually take action? What's stopping them from taking that action? How do they actually go out there and implement it?
Well, let's consider I have a book, right? And this is the one I'm reading right now, Turn the Ship Around, right? And I have a ton of different books that I'm writing myself. I have not published them, but I always have a book and I write in it all the time. Um, I mean, literally, I take notes, right? Always taking notes, always writing things down. But that book that I'm reading didn't happen on its own. It happened with a thought. And when we implement, it's about, I believe, taking a note, writing it down, speaking it out, telling people, this is what I'm going to do. That makes you accountable because later on, they go, hey, did you do that thing? Oh, no, I haven't had a chance. What do you mean you haven't had a chance? You were so passionate about it. What happened? And to me, that's somebody who cares. That's somebody who heard you. So if you say you're going to do something, do it. Do it. As long as no one is getting hurt. And I stress that tremendously. As long as no one is getting hurt. I was talking to somebody and they said that they teach their children to become leaders, but they teach their children to become leaders with people, not through people, not to be stepping and piling bodies up to get to the top, not to use them as step ladders, but to use people to their benefit, Because if you can help somebody else, they'll help you. And the more people you help, the more you will be helped. So it depends on how you implement it. So I say a thought is a thought, but if you don't implement it, it dies with you. It dies with you. So implementation is not easy, but the best way to do it is write it down. Put it on paper. Type it up. I prefer to, I like typing, but I gotta tell you, I have several books that I've penned, and everybody's like, when is your book coming out? When is this doing? When is that doing? And I said, when the time is right. When the time is right, it'll come out.
Mhm.
If nothing else, my family will have books to read about.
Oh, I'm looking forward to those books. If it's anything as close to what you just shared now, I'm sure it's going to have a lot of great nuggets in there, great wisdom in there, that people are going to be very, very excited about. I know you do a lot of different things, and you're always coming up with great ideas, coming up with great ventures, and your passion really comes through in those projects. So what's pushing your buttons right now? What are you excited for? What is your passion about? What's going on in the next little bit here?
Well, I am building, I'm going to say, a powerhouse, to be honest with you. Right now, I am building something that is bigger than me. And that is to enhance communication worldwide, like you mentioned earlier, for individuals, teams, and organizations. And I am thrilled that you're part of it, my friend. I am thrilled. And when it comes to communication, I think that we're missing some of the key ingredients. But imagine if everyone could communicate better. We would have less fights. We would have less arguments. There's nothing wrong with having an opinion. We all have different opinions. You may want to, eat this type of food, and I may want to eat this type of food. Yet, we don't have to fight about it if we're going to go out for lunch or dinner, right? You can say, "Well, I'm going to suggest this." Well, I don't like that kind of food. I'm going to suggest this. You're like, "I don't like that kind of food." That doesn't mean we fight. That means, okay, now we know what's not on the table. Let's figure out what we can have on the table. What kind of food can we have some great conversation over? And I think that what winds up happening is that everybody brings blame first because the communication is not there. We don't understand one another. When And I'm sure you have, and everybody listening, they've watched the show and then they go and talk to somebody about, maybe it's a TV show, it could be a movie, it could even be a speech. And different people take different points of views. I don't want to get into politics, but when a politician talks, you have people who are like, "Hey, it was amazing." And then you go to people, "Did you hear this?" So it's all this stuff, it's happening. And we can't please everyone. But if we had a clearer sense of communication, of listening first, I think that's a key ingredient to communication. Because you may hear something, you may hear a siren. I don't think you're listening to the siren unless your house is on fire. You're going to listen really carefully and get out. But a lot of people are so used to hearing that they tune someone out instead of taking the time to try to understand.
Mhm.
So even though your political views may not be like mine, that doesn't mean I don't value you as a person, right? So that's why communication for me is the one that's really chasing me, because when we come across as knowledgeable, and heartfelt. It changes the dynamic as somebody who comes, who's crass, who doesn't care about people, and who just is looking for money. And you can tell that. And that's why car salesmen have gotten a bad rap, because the good ones don't have a bad rap. You know what they have? Clients, repeat clients. When you walk into a sales showroom, you know you're there to buy something. It doesn't matter if you're buying a sink, if you're buying whatever it is, right? It also depends on the type of showroom you walk into. If you're going to buy an area rug, are you walking into a department store, or you are walking into a specific area rug store where their area rugs, the cheapest one is $5,000, and they go up to, $200,000-$300,000. You know where you are, where you're stepping into. But for the salesperson to not understand why you're there and just try to sell you without first wanting to know why you need to buy something. So that communication as a salesperson needs to be improved, because if we can get to the why, we'll make more sales, a lot more sales. So that's why communication, and that's why I started Speaking Prowess. It's a platform, it's a virtual platform where instructors all over the world, including you, are going to be teaching different courses on communication. But we're also going to have in-person events, whether we're doing them in New York, in California, in Canada, in Switzerland, and wherever. We're going to have events all over where they're in person. But the beauty of it is that the online platform lets anyone learn and level up their communication skills at any time. At any time.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me part of that part of the group. Very, very excited to be sharing and adding value to your platform and to others as well. And secondly, what you shared there is very, very important. I mean, so many people are going into showrooms and they don't want to be sold to. So I think it goes both ways as well. If you're going to a showroom and you don't want to be sold to, you're not giving them a chance to actually listen to what you're looking for. But at the other side, the salespeople need to listen. Like they can't just keep on selling you stuff and just going off script, because like that doesn't work either. So I've experienced it in both ways. One of my favorite stories is I was booking something for another event, and every time I call, they give me the same spiel. And I'm like, I've heard the spiel so many times, and you know who I am already. Why are you repeating it? And they're like, well, I'm sorry. And then after a while, they eventually caught on and they changed the way they talk to me, which is nice. But still, it went through 4, 5, 6 iterations before I'm like, hey, I got it. Um, so when it comes to life lessons and last messages and all that kind of stuff, we're putting you on the big stage. And I know you shared a lot of great nuggets today, but if there was one message you want everybody to remember Raphael for, what's that one message?
People matter. People matter. Everything I do is because I have to share my gifts. And if I look at a person as a money sign, I had a coach I mean, back in 1989, who said to me, hey, when that client walks in, I want you to think of them as Vacation Harry or sales ship. Not salesmanship, but sales ship. Like you want to buy this boat and you attach them to it. And then you'll be really hungry to buy to sell them the product. Think of it as a BMW. They walk in, they're a BMW, or they're your next this. And that was the biggest turn off of a coach I've ever had, when he made me think of people. And it was very short-lived. I was like, I can't think of people that way. They're people. They have a heart, they have feelings. And I would never want anyone thinking of me that way. And I never, ever, I mean, it was like a 1 minute thing. I'm like, yeah, let me look at that person. You look. And then I looked at him. I said, what are you to me? I said, are you like a Rolls Royce right now to me? And then he kind of looked back at me and I'm like, exactly. So no, I can't see people without valuing them as a human first. So for me, the biggest takeaway in that instance was people really matter. Because at the end of the day, if this is your last day, is that Mercedes in your driveway gonna matter? Is that yacht gonna matter? Is your bank account going to matter? It may matter to the people you're leaving it to, but it's not going to matter to you, right? It may matter to the people that are going to keep it afterwards. But that also set that up so that you know the right people are getting it, right? I know so many people who don't have a will. And I say, well, if you don't have a will, somebody else will take it. So have a will of your choice. So it's important for us to consider everyone in our lives and make them matter.
Mhm. I got one more final formal question for you because of what you were talking about just there. You're talking about the gifts, sharing those gifts. You were very, very fortunate to find out what your gift is and able to share it. Lots of people don't consider what their gifts are as gifts. They might go, well, it's not good enough. It's not at that level. That person's gift is just better than my gift. So how do you help people go, okay, no, this is your gift, and the gift is your version of that gift that you can still share to people who are able to learn from you. How do you help them overcome that mindset of it's not good enough?
I think we have to look at big business, right? I'm not promoting anybody, by the way, but if you think that uh, Pepsi turned around and said, oh, Coca-Cola's got the market, I'm done. Pepsi's a multi-billion-dollar company. If you think about Apple, IBM, everybody out there didn't allow one person to shine. So why are you allowing only others to shine when you have something to shine about? So let's figure out, what are you good at? What are you passionate about? What drives you? I mean, listen, if you were bored right now and you could not watch TV, you could do anything besides, going on vacation, but you actually had to do something with your time. What's that one thing that you would want to do that would kind of give you some pleasure? And then we can start understanding what they're good at. Maybe you like sewing, maybe you like knitting, maybe you like putting things together, maybe you like tinkering, maybe you like word puzzles. We don't know, but you have to start to dig, because maybe if you like word puzzles, you actually like to solve problems. Oh, maybe you're a problem solver. Maybe you like drawing. Oh, maybe you're an artist. Maybe you like writing, even if it's in your diary. Well, did you ever think of writing for a newspaper or a magazine? So there's a lot of different ways that we can look at it, but it depends on the individual. And for somebody who goes, I'm not good at anything. Great, let's start with that. What are you horrible at? And let's narrow it down to, okay, you're horrible at this. You don't know how to fix a car. Okay, you're terrible. Take that out. You don't know how to fly an airplane. Take that out. I get it. Okay. Maybe you're good at flying kites. Look at that. Maybe you can start to develop kites. Maybe whatever it is. But we have to start somewhere, whether it's the positive or the negatives, but we narrow it down till we take it to that thing that makes you special, and never ever compare yourself to someone else, because you probably would not want to be where they are, because you don't know what they had to do to get there.
Great stuff. I mean, I love that way of doing it because they'll get started. Whether you start at the bottom or the top, you'll get started. So, great words of wisdom there. Before I let you go, I got 5 quick rapid fire questions. Give me the first thing that comes to mind.
Sure.
Right. So you're stranded on the desert island, one food to eat for the rest of your life, no consequence. So you'll still be fit, you'll still be healthy, one food.
Broccoli.
Wow, great choice. Um, you're you're on a road trip and you're in that car for hours and hours on end. One song that you don't mind listening to on repeat.
Beat it.
Great choice there too. Hollywood calls and goes, "Hey, we love your story. We would love to do a biopic on you. Who would you cast to play you?"
Fong.
Let's veto me because I can't act.
um, he's dead, but it would be Patrick Swayze.
Awesome. Well, Patrick Swayze somehow shows up at your door
He comes back.
and comes back and goes, "Hey, I got casted to play you. Let's hang out. Let's have some fun. Boy, I'm hungry." And you go, "Hey, no worries. Let me fix you something good to eat. What's that special dish that you can prepare?"
Uh, Salmon.
Very nice. And last question, give me a number from 1 to 4.
2.
1, 2. So if you had to use origami as a metaphor for success, how is origami like success?
You sometimes have to fold things to get the goal.
Nicely done. So that's how origami is like success. Thank you very much, SIFU Raphael. It's been a pleasure. I've learned a lot within this period of time. I'm sure lots of people out there has gotten lots of wisdom from you as well. What's the best way for people to get in touch?
Easy. If you go to speakingprowess.com, that's the website that we're building right now. It's an incredible site. If you find me on LinkedIn, it's LinkedIn. The end is C for Raphael, and Facebook is C for Raphael G. Easy.
And any final words from you?
Yes, listen to the show and follow Fong for sure. He is doing an exceptional show. And when you consider somebody who cares, who structures his questions really well, then you know you have to follow Fong.
Thank you very much. When I receive that check that's already in the mail, I'm gonna shred it up because now we're even. Awesome stuff. Thank you very much, everybody. Make sure you follow Sifu Raphael. Make sure you tune into Speaking Prowess and also follow his content. Lots of great stuff there. I believe you have a few podcasts as well. What are those shows called?
Well, it's Coach and Call is one. The other one is Heroes Rising. Then it's Business Prowess. Then the Sear Show, New Tip Daily, and the new one coming out, which you'll be a guest on. You're going to be a guest on all of them, by the way. It's going to be Speaking Prowess, where we talk about communication.
Awesome. Make sure everybody get in touch with that stuff, follow and like all those podcasts, and pay attention because there's going to be a lot of stuff coming up from Sifu Raphael here. Until next time, he's Sifu Raphael. My name is Fong. Today is the day to lock your peak potential. We'll see you later.